strikes twice, and we have one topic apiece, and that makes two whole topics because there's two of us, and there's 5 minutes apiece, so that makes roughly 10 minutes. But sometimes we go over.
Oh, we
Most.
always, yeah.
So, Eric, you have the first topic.
All right. I suppose mine fits into like a tomfoolery, maybe politics category. Okay, military grade.
Like, as a designation
Well,
for
no, like
something, like,
so companies and stuff, they sell things and they're like, oh, this is military grade encryption, it's military grade metallurgy or something, and it's like, dude, anybody who's served in the military or been a contractor knows that's bullshit. um
well, I mean, I always figured it just meant that that was something that they contracted out to the military. And so if it's good enough for the military, it must be good enough for you as kind of a marketing ploy.
yeah, but they kind of use that as if it's like better than, say, just a run-of-the-mill civilian version of something, that somehow it's better, which that is 100% not true. Now, okay, so military grade stuff does have a high standard of like consistency, right? Like standardization. That is pretty important there. But like, it's
I mean,
also,
that's all the military cares about too.
I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, does it do the job? Yeah, okay, good enough. But then it comes at a very high cost too, which does translate into this marketing gimmick of saying, oh yeah, that super expensive stuff that the military has, this is akin to that or something. But
Mm,
that cost is just because, well, the government just wastes money.
yeah.
Like that's pretty much what it just hemorrhages money for the hell of it. I mean,
Mm,
so I mean, I've seen this myself, but a friend of mine who worked for the Navy as like a contractor doing ship repair and stuff like that, mostly electrical. Um, just one of the things. So they they used a bunch of hardware and stuff that would be supplied by various suppliers, and they'd get a shipment of these bolts, right? And this is the most ridiculous one. So it's just, just regular bolts, like you could go to Tacoma Screw or Home Depot or whatever and get basically the same stainless steel bolt. But the way they came packaged, they each one was individually bagged, each bolt. Like they could have easily put it in just a box, like, but every single one came individually bagged and they were super expensive. And so that's what you end up with the military, like,
military grade packaging.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll say there's some military kit that I'd love to have if I could get my hands on it, like it'd be cool to drive around town in an MRAP or something like that. Um,
What is
or
that?
it's like an armored personnel carrier type vehicle. They well, when they get retired, they get given to SWAT teams and police forces. So
Hmm.
you've probably seen them rolling around out
Yeah, I
there.
mean, can't all be bad because you would think they would at least want the best of the best for like protecting the soldiers, like
Yeah, and
Kevlar or whatever. Like if that's military grade, I'd be like, okay, well,
I,
I would hope that they want you to not be shot dead.
yeah, it's hit or miss, but a lot of times the focus from the brass, like the upper echelons, is on the numbers, not on the individual. Um, but yeah, in general that is the case, and they build there's some good stuff. Geez, you got to look into the new Jeep replacement that's coming out. That thing is sick. Oh my god, I want one. I can't wait for it to come up on surplus. Holy shit.
I
uh
mean, yeah, the government wastes money, but remember when we had a business and we always wanted to do work with the military,
mhm.
and like apart from a few branches of the Fort Lewis out there where they could kind of do their own thing, some of them were based on like a bid.
Yeah.
So they were going for like the absolute cheapest of the cheap.
Hmm.
So um maybe it isn't really about like spending the most money.
Well, it's yeah. It is kind of a strange dichotomy, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
like when you talk about things, it's like, oh, yeah, they're cheaping out on as many things as possible, but then you have like the F-35 program that was just like they're just billions and billions of dollars going at nothing, essentially. Um, so it is kind of weird in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't believe that there's like I mean, the military stuff is any better than civilian stuff. It just, but there's this kind of marketing scheme, I guess, behind that.
Yeah. See, we should have been like, why are you trying to get the lowest bidder for your printer repair? Because if you print something all smudgy like deployment orders, somebody could end up in Moscow, Russia instead of Moscow, Idaho. You know?
Totally. Oh, dang it.
Then what?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, man. I remember some of the printers were actually pretty important back in the day. There's a couple places that were kind of like secured facilities where well it you had to have an escort, and they had a whole bunch of the plotters essentially, which at the time were no longer like a pen plotter. It was just a big ass inkjet, and they were printing up these tactical maps and stuff like that. um, and yeah, I mean, so even the lowly printer is super important to the military. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess it'd be your turn then.
Okay. Got to try to think of which topic I want to go with here. Um, what is the big deal about trans people in sports?
Hmm. Oh man, that's a real hot button kind of topic, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't get it. Like it's sports, you know, like
Well,
it's
you're right.
literally games.
At
Like
the end of the day, it's inconsequential. But I guess for the people, especially young people playing sports, particularly girls, they feel like they're kind of outrun by trans girls, that biological males. And I mean, there's something to that. I think that isn't unreasonable. Plus, like locker room things, I could see people being uncomfortable about it. Me personally, I don't give a shit. Doesn't really matter. And sports really doesn't matter, but maybe the
mhm,
locker room. And I suppose, although it's a small portion of the population, as I always kind of use this as a parallel. Disabled people are a small portion of the population, yet we make accommodations for them. People with wheelchair
yeah,
access and things like that. And I it's just the times they are a changing, right? So
right.
maybe we need to change things like bathrooms and locker rooms to be more uh, personal spaces rather than group spaces. And okay, maybe why don't we divide things up into add a third category for sports? We have men's sports, biological men, biological women's sports, and then we have the anything goes sports, like group where you blend everybody together, which I'd love to see. Honestly, I think um, it'd be cool to see a football team comprised of men and women and trans people and whatnot, a
Well,
baseball team, because like
yeah.
you can play to everybody's capabilities and you know okay, certain
And if there's
sports.
men and women on both sides of each, on each team, then you can't really say it's like imbalanced or something
No,
because it's like, and of course you're not going to have a perfect balance, but
no, but that's where the fun comes. If
yeah,
you have a perfect balance, then well, nobody wins, right?
like, yeah, like I'm not really into like forcing statistics either, like I'm all for like DEI stuff, but not necessarily for mandating a certain number or something. Like
Yeah.
you can't take something intangible and stick like real hard fast numbers on them and then try to make the square peg fit in the round hole. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But overall, like it just doesn't matter. Like I would go the other way. I would say less personal spaces and just have more co-ed
Mhm.
locker rooms. Like get people kind of used to like being around other naked people because that's how we're born and that's like just kind
No,
of the natural
I,
state of things. And
I do agree, and I think people like, and I that, changing that would be a big ask for the general public. But
mm,
I like my ultimate desire, I suppose, would be to get rid of all that stigma around like nudity
yeah.
and stuff. And it's like, well, what does it matter? I mean, who
I mean, of
cares?
course, you could have a couple of closets with a drape you pull if you're one of those people that just feels insecure or whatever. But let everybody else freely do whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm,
Like, uh, nudity is generally okay in Germany. And we went to a like a hot springs sort of thing, like a
mm-hmm,
thermal bath place, and my wife and stepdaughter went off to a changing cabinet, and I'm standing here at my locker, and I'm like, I just take my underwear off and put shorts on. It's like 2 seconds I'm naked. What's the big deal? So I just did it. And I
mm-hmm.
look over and there was a girl just like, kind of like glanced over at me and that was it. Nobody freaked out. You know,
As it
like
should be.
nobody was offended by
Well,
a penis being in present,
but because for so long we've associated nudity with sex, right?
right.
And there, of
I mean,
course,
if I
there's
had
no.
stood there and started wanking or something,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
you can definitely complain about that because that's
sure,
crossing a line. But
yeah,
if
that's
people
an
are just
action.
getting naked and taking showers and putting clothes on, taking
Oh,
clothes off,
I mean, like you said, this is how we're born, right?
yeah,
Under all this artificial covering that we have, we're all naked people,
yeah.
and
And think about
so.
this: if you're in the locker room, right,
Mhm.
with your teammates, and and you see like
Oh, that's
you
time. Well, no, you can finish your sentence. That's allowed, of course.
and you see some genitals that you didn't expect. Well, now you know that's all there is to it. Like
Hmm.
like
I know.
okay, so like it's up to you to decide whether or not you act like a human being or a dick.
Well, and it's societal conditioning. I mean, it's been going on for a long time, but
Yeah,
okay. Well, boy, that's that definitely is gonna get some people going, I think. Um,
probably have. I should have saved that one for a different one because I think most people tune out before we get to the second topic. So
well, we can always come back to it.
yeah,
There's a lot of the things we cover are just kind of timeless topics, maybe with timely, um, I don't know,
timely timing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Timeless topic, timeless topics with timely timing.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Couldn't even say it once.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Share your comments down there in the comments section. Be nice to each other. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and we do this every week. We have our Sunday live streams, so stick around for those. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next time.